Hey guys, Heather here from Tie-Dyed Iguana, and today we are at our tarantula section to talk about bioactive tanks for your invertebrates. Now you've probably seen that we have a lot of tanks with live plants in it here at our store for our tropical reptiles and amphibians, but you've also probably seen our tanks set up for our tarantulas that also have live plants in it too. So today we're going to kind of talk about what the benefits are of setting up a bioactive planted tank for your invertebrate pets like tarantulas and scorpions and other pets like that. So let's go get started. So the first benefit of a bioactive tank with live plants is that the live plants actually help tarantulas, isopods, and scorpions breathe. Now, to understand how plants help these guys breathe, you gotta kind of understand about their biology first. Tarantulas and scorpions, they breathe through a set of organs called book lungs. Now, book lungs kind of function similar to how gills do in fish, and it causes them water loss. Now, if you have real plants in the enclosure, that generates more humidity, and then that humidity helps to counteract the moisture loss through respiration for these guys. So if it's too dry in the tank, and there's not enough moisture, these guys have a little bit of a tougher time staying hydrated because of all that moisture loss through breathing. Now, isopods, they do actually have gills that they use to breathe, and if they don't get enough moisture, they will dry out and they won't be able to breathe. So they definitely do need that amount of humidity and moisture in their tank too to keep from drying out, and plants will help with that. Now, another benefit of having a live planted tank is that the plants kind of help you determine how humid it is. Now, if the plants in your tank start to droop, that means that they are too dry and that the environment is also too dry for your invertebrate. So it's kind of a good indicator of the humidity level by looking at how healthy the plants are. If the plants look healthy, they're upright and everything, that usually means the humidity level is really good in the tank for both them and the invertebrates in the tank too. And if not, then you gotta maybe spray it down, add more moisture to the tank, and possibly re-wet the bedding and everything. Now, for your invertebrates like tarantulas and scorpions, you can kind of create a humidity gradient. If you've got a larger tank than this is a more vertical tank. If you've got more horizontal tank, you can plant your plants on one side, have it be more humid, and on the other side you can have a little bit drier. So you can create those humidity gradients so they can decide where they want to hang out, if they want to hang out on the more humid side or the drier side. They can kind of self-regulate that way. For isopods though, they kind of require a good amount of moisture throughout, so you wouldn't want to create a tank that has a dry spot for isopods. Now, the third benefit of having a live planted tank is that the plants provide shelter and an enrichment for the invertebrates. Now, plants can provide extra spaces for your invertebrate to hide. For example, you can see here that one of our tarantulas has actually used the plants in his tank to build his web. So he's kind of got some webbing on this plant right here. Kind of use it to help build the structure of a little hideout for themselves. Also, you might notice your tarantulas kind of chewing on your plants or kind of digging them up and moving them around. So that kind of gives them something to do. Sometimes they'll just dig them up for no reason and just move around the tank. And then if you would have isopods in your tank, the falling leaves that might fall off and die, they provide shelter and also nourishment for the isopods. And that's one of the cool things about having live plants in your tank is when the leaves have wilted and fallen off the main plant, they can provide a leaf litter for your isopods so that they can get food and shelter. And then the fourth benefit of having a bioactive live planted tank is that it looks nice. Now, this isn't necessarily for the exact benefit of the invertebrate, but hey, it looks pretty awesome when you have a more natural looking tank. Kind of creates a more natural habitat for them that they would encounter out in the wild. So yeah, it just kind of looks pretty and it just looks more natural. It's not so boring and everything. So yeah, it just kind of livens up the tank. So yeah, you don't necessarily need to have a live planted bioactive tank for your invertebrates like your scorpions, your tropical scorpions, or your tropical tarantulas. But it is a good idea, and it does provide benefits to the animal, and it looks pretty darn cool. So if you ever have any questions about what types of plants you can use in your tank, feel free to ask, and we'll let you know which ones are good to go. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.